Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Pokemon Pocket video for you. Coming at you with the new and on top Tier 1 deck of the current format. That is going to be Exeggutor Celebi. For our build, we're on 2 Execute from Genetic Apex. We got 2 Exeggutor EX, 1 Celebi EX. From there, we also have 2 Potion, 2 Pokeball, 1 Pokemon Communication, 1 Giant Cape, 2 Rocky Helmet, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Erica, 2 Sabrina, and finally, 1 Cyrus. So, for this build in particular, we are running a very minimal amount of Pokemon, which is not too uncommon. Really helps to ensure that you open Execute, because having Exeggutor very, very early is very, very important. Because Exeggutor EX can attack for only 1 grass energy, can start getting with a tropical swing with 40 or potentially 80 damage. Now, I have actually featured an Exeggutor EX build. That build also had Yanmega EX, though, and I kind of thought that was going to end up being, the big sort of anti-meta deck in the Darkrai meta, but turns out just streamlining with the Exeggutor EX is good enough, which we also found in that video. If you go back and watch my Exeggutor Yanmega deck profile, then in that one I have a game where Exeggutor EX solos Darkrai by itself, and we even landed Tails on every tropical swing. Here we're off to a fantastic start. I can begin by seed bombing the opponent. We've got Celebi set up, and Exeggutor EX is in hand. Unfortunately, you can see that this opponent is not currently present. So, this is something that has been a little bit more common lately, I've noticed, especially in the event, the metal event, where people will just kind of leave when they lose. They just kind of like stop responding. And this is in hopes, I'm assuming, of getting me to concede. This is a common tactic you see in every digital TCG. It's something that a lot of people I've noticed online are like very vocally upset about, but you think about it this way. An opponent who's doing this is trying to waste your time, but in doing so is also wasting theirs. And if we're spending the equal amount of time wasted, but they're losing and I'm winning, then I'm totally fine with that. So, yeah, I mean, I just watch YouTube while I play games anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal at all. I mean, yeah, it's very unsportsmanlike, and ideally there is a system that, has something around this. Maybe the timer could be a little bit shorter if somebody is in particular AFK, but at the same time, this also just means to me that I'm just going to secure the win here. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a bit of an early concede for my opponent, too, considering that I could land Tails on all my tropical swings, and they might be able to outpace me in terms of damage in the long run, but I guess we'll never find out. Yeah, I put the Giant Cape on just in case they were somehow able to Psychic Sphere this turn, but they didn't even put their first energy on Mewtwo, let alone the second one. As you can see, we got the Exeggutor EX in hand already. Start attaching energy to the follow-up Celebi, and yeah, now the game is over. So, yeah, again, a increasingly common phenomenon in the game, but like, I don't know, it's whatever. It's annoying, but who cares, right? We still won the game. Anyway. Now let's take a look at a game against Darkrai. So of course this is going to be the big meta deck that we are having such a good matchup against, right? The reason why we're playing this deck, and not just us, but lots of people. If you look at a lot of the tournament topping decks, I think this is currently like the #1 in terms of representation, and pretty close if not up there too in win rate. And yeah, it makes sense. Alright, so here we actually didn't open Execute, we opened our Celebi instead, which, that's a little bit annoying, but it's really not that big of a deal. You could also optionally run Mew in this deck, but I really wanted to focus on Exeggutor EX in particular, so. And speaking of which, we managed to draw a copy off the Professor's Research, so even though we only opened Celebi, we are still able to get our stuff online. Unfortunately, I'm going to be delayed by a turn as far as actually being able to attack, because I still have to retreat the Celebi out. So this is actually one of the very, very few pocket decks where you actually want to go first. Most decks want to go second because they can place their energy sooner, right? Because whoever goes first can't place energy. But for Exeggutor EX, you actually want to go first. So that way you can open with Execute. Then it doesn't matter that you're a turn behind on energy because Exeggutor only needs 1 energy to attack anyway. So then on turn 3, you can not only evolve Execute into Exeggutor, but then you put that 1 energy on, and then you can start attacking. And that ends up being really convenient. I will say one thing that is kind of nice about having Celebi in the active is that it's going to eat the Nightmare Aura attacks. But of course the drawback of that is that, you know, Darkrai is going to be able to start using Dark Prism pretty shortly after Exeggutor hits the board. Now, a lot of the idea behind this deck isn't just the fact that Exeggutor is really good against Darkrai, but the fact that it's just very good in general. It's a very aggressive attacker, again, off only 1 energy, can deal a solid amount of damage, and furthermore, 160 HP is quite a bit to naturally have. Combined with Giant's Cape and Potion and Erica, means that your deck's main attacker is actually really hard to KO too. Not just for Darkrai decks, but for decks in general. I mean, think about it, even like Gyarados or Mewtwo or Magnezone or Rampardos or any of those other Pokemon getting off their big attacks, you know, that doesn't really matter. Well, I mean, of course it matters if it happens, but you're not going to get one-shot by it, is more what I mean. Here, my opponent bafflingly uses a Sabrina before passing, and I was like, huh? Like, all my opponent did there was save me an energy on the Celebi to let me start building it up a little bit sooner. I don't really know why they did that at all. Maybe they're newer to the game and they thought Sabrina was like Cyrus and they'd get to pick, but no, Sabrina's not that good. I will definitely be using my Sabrina here. If I can manage to one-shot this Magnemite by winning the coin flip here, that'll go a long way towards winning this game. And sure enough, we managed to flip the heads. Tropical Swing does 80, Magnemite is KO'd, and now we've even managed to KO it before Magneton can start getting built up here. Granted, if they'd evolved into Magneton and not played other Pokemon, I could have just used the other Sabrina on the next turn to just guarantee the KO, but nice to only have to use 1 Sabrina to do that, not both of them. Alright, so here's the 3rd energy on Darkrai. Looks like they did have Druddigon, so I'm glad I Sabrina'd when I did. And now they can start using Dark Prism, which does threaten to 2-shot in combination with the with the ability, right? Drawing our 2nd Exeggutor lets us evolve here. Gonna put the 2nd energy on Celebi, and then I'll use a potion on the Exeggutor. Actually, I'm gonna use both of them here, because now, even if my opponent puts in energy on Darkrai and also uses Dark Prism, my Exeggutor will be left with 20 HP. Landing under their heads on the Darkrai, definitely making up for our lack of luck the last time we faced off against Darkrai with Exeggutor, but now it doesn't matter even if we don't land heads on the next one, because we're still just going to guarantee get the KO anyway, with the Darkrai only being at 40 HP. And even if they do retreat, as you can see, we still have that Sabrina in hand. Our opponent is going to play another Druddigon though, but ultimately they concede. I thought that was a little bit early, but maybe they just assumed I had a Cyrus in hand. Either way, we are definitely glad to have won this game. And again, not entirely unexpected, as this is a pretty good matchup in our favor. Alright, as soon as we send our thanks off to this opponent, we're going to go into our last game of this video, which is going to yet again be against a Darkrai Magnezone deck. I know I'm a little bit late on covering this deck. I know it's been the top deck for quite a while, but at the time I recorded these games, Darkrai Magnezone was still like the top deck on the leaderboards there. Yeah, ideally I would like to be a little more like keeping up to date on this channel, but I do have the main Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel channel that I mostly focus keeping up to date on that, as well as a day job and life, you know. So Pokemon Pocket is a bit more of a side thing for me, but it's a very, very fun game. I absolutely adore playing it. Oh, I'm so jealous of our opponents. Yeah, I love this Rainbow Darkrai art here. It's so good. Don't get me wrong, I really like my full art version too, but that one just looks mwah, so beautiful. Anyway, going to Pokeball into another Execute here before activating the Professor's Research. Finding another Research and Sabrina. I think, did we go second again here? Did we lose all these? It's like so natural, right? Of course, once you want to go first, you never end up winning the coin flip. Yeah, definitely no need to really attack here. I'm debating on it, and it's like, why would I? Honestly, deal 20 to take 20 between the 50 and 100 HP is definitely not favorable. Not favorable, especially when we're going to be taking damage from the Nightmare Aura as well. Now, unfortunately, our opponent did put a second Druddigon in the back, meaning this Sabrina in our hand really isn't going to be as good as it was in that last game for us, right? Dragging out the Magnemite. Also, I don't know why my opponent is on Genetic Apex Magnemite. You should definitely be on the Space-Time Smackdown Magnemite, because that one you can actually potentially attack with, and it has the potential to matter. Alright, we managed to find our Exeggutor on time here, so very glad to see that. Debating if I want to attack the Druddigon or not, but I feel like I have to. Drawing the Erica also definitely makes me feel better about doing it too. I really need to be able to two-shot this Druddigon, though, is the thing. Which means ideally I need to land one of these coin flips. We missed the first one, but that's fine. We can just land heads on the next one, ideally. You know, a lot of people will... I don't know about a lot of people, but I've seen people online complain about this deck already. They're like, oh, Exeggutor meta just turns the game into a coin flip fest. People say that about literally every meta in this game. It's like, anyway. But this complaint is extra funny to me because it's more of a detriment to the person playing Exeggutor than the opponent, right? Like, the fact that you can't reliably deal a consistent amount of damage with the Exeggutor in situations like this can often be very rough. Alright, so if you're wondering why I didn't put the Rocky helmet onto the Exeggutor, I was kind of waiting to see if I got a Giant's Cape instead. I'll use my supporter for turn here, Erica, to heal up the Exeggutor. Then to throw the Giant's Cape on, just keeping its HP high. Again, one of the big benefits of playing this deck is your main Pokemon is not only so aggressive, but so bulky. Alright. I really need to land a heads on this Tropical Swing, but as you can see, I don't. And this is going to be a huge detriment to this game for me here. The fact that I was not able to two-shot the Druddigon. It's not even the extra 20 damage I'm going to take from the rough scales, right? It's also the extra 20 damage I'll additionally take from the Nightmare Aura, as well as the Darkrai being fully set up now, as well as me needing to take a whole extra turn in order to knock out something. On top of actually what's happening here, which is that the Druddigon's not even going to get knocked out. It's going to get replaced with the full HP one. You know, it's like, there's so many reasons why that was so brutal. So I know a lot of people can feel like the game being won or lost hinges on coin flips from their opponent, but sometimes the game being won or lost can hinge on coin flips on your end as well, right? Here we do have the Cyrus, and we've already committed too many turns to this Druddigon. I have to knock it out here and take a point, right? Also, good to use Cyrus here for that reason. Because then my Sabrinas that are in my hand become a lot better now. But here what I decided to do is, rather than having more chip damage done to my Exeggutor EX, I'm just going to swap in my Execute, use Seed Bomb, and deal 20 damage that way. This will also potentially save me from my Exeggutor from eating any damage from Darkrai here on the follow-up turn. So we're starting to look like this game might be a bit back more on pace here. Opponent ends up putting in Magneton, though, and not the Darkrai, which can only mean that they're about to evolve into the Magnezone. Looks like they do, unfortunately for me, have the Sabrina here, so they can just pull the Exeggutor back in here, too. Putting another energy on Darkrai, deal 20 to the active Exeggutor. Magneton's ability, yep, will then activate, putting another electric energy on. And we can presume that, yep, here is the Magnezone. Another Darkrai coming down the bench. Our opponent really should attach an energy to that one, but... Another thing that's not looking too great for us here is the fact that we have no healing cards in hand. No Potion, no Erica. And I still haven't even seen a second Exeggutor or a Celebi yet. It's really too late to start getting Celebi online. And unfortunately, I think it's a little bit too late for Erica here, too, because, yeah, we heal back up to 70, but Magnezone deals 110, and we can't one-shot it. Even if we do Sabrina here, it's like... I don't know. They just probably bring in Druddigon, and then it's things... We can't attack the Druddigon at all, right? Because then we'll just get KO'd. Yeah, it just really doesn't look good here. I ultimately I don't even end up using the Erica here. I guess my thought process was that, okay, maybe I can top deck another Exeggutor and then I can save this Erica for that. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking here. Alright, let's see what they do. They keep loading up all this energy on the same Darkrai, but... Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the game, right? Because then they KO... I mean, I should just use Erica, I guess, on Exeggutor for that reason. They KO, and then we just lose there. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. Super appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more Pokemon Pocket content. This is Hexlex signing out, hoping that you have a fantastic day.